You know what I love about December?
Christmas,
Yeah.
snow, the new year is right around the corner, hanging out with friends, your birthday, I don't know. That's all I got.
Yeah.
One of those things.
What I love about December is that December is big blockbuster movie season.
It is?
Yeah, all kinds of movies come out around December. You don't know that?
What movies are coming out this December?
Avatar 2. Violent Night.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call Christmas movies blockbusters, but I'll give you that one.
Some Christmas movies are blockbusters. I feel like Jim Carrey's Grinch was a blockbuster in its time.
Yeah, I guess.
I feel like if they were to release a Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin, that would be a blockbuster.
All grown up.
Yeah.
I'd pay to see that.
Now he's the
Have
robber.
the same two villains from the first two movies come back and try and catch him.
Joe Pesci.
When he's older.
Like 80-year-old Joe Pesci.
Just like they get out of jail and instead of trying to rob someone, they're just like, let's find that kid and get revenge on him.
This time it's personal. But the other thing that I love about December is that we also seem to get a lot of trailers for new movies in December.
New year right around the corner.
Yeah, and so this December seems to be no exception to that, and we have several trailers to talk about today, but we also have a bunch of other stuff to talk about too. So, hello and welcome to the Movie Men podcast.
The B-Team.
That's Carl.
This is Brady.
And see, every time you say it that way, like I like that you say it that way, but you're like, this is Brady, and I'm like, wait, if that's Carl and that's Brady, who am I? It's like you stick me with an identity crisis at the beginning of every episode.
There's a third person in the room.
Yeah. Who the hell am I? So we're going to talk about the news. We're going to talk about the news that happened last week in the world of movies and cinema, and not all of the news. Calm yourself. If there's something that you thought was newsworthy and we didn't talk about it, that's because we didn't think that it was newsworthy, and you can just
it's not
suck an egg.
Just because you think it's important doesn't make it important.
Yeah,
if we think it's important.
Who are the authorities here? Carl, Brady, and the guy with the identity crisis.
Yeah. If you had a mic, then your news would be important.
Yeah,
but you don't. So sit down and listen up
and shut up and listen. Yeah. So we got several things to talk about. So let's just dive right into them. Star Wars. Have you heard of it?
Love it.
Yeah, it's this little indie up-and-coming franchise that I'm hoping they'll turn into something once again. But one of the shows that we've been sort of getting teased to us, it was announced to us a while back, and unlike many of the Star Wars projects that have been announced and then end up in an elephant graveyard somewhere, this one actually is coming.
Mandalorian season 3.
That as well. A whole new season, a whole new series though, which is Star Wars: The Acolyte. Do you know much about this? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, isn't it supposed to be Star Wars set before the prequels, episode 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, quite a while before. So basically, we've gotten some details now. Given
is it
to
Old
us,
Republic, or is it just a couple hundred years before the original trilogy?
It is the
trilogy?
final. Let me double check and make sure I read this right, because I thought I read it right, and now you're saying Old Republic, and that's messing me up. Because like
Old Republic is like Darth Revan, before when the Sith also numbered in the thousands before the Rule of Two. That's Old Republic.
Hang on. No. So it is, I was right, and you just messed me up. So we just recently got some details about the show from one of the stars of the show, who I am possibly most excited to see return to the screen in any facet, which is Daphne Keane.
Who?
Daphne Keane.
Keen.
You last saw her as a little feisty mutant in Logan. She played Logan's daughter.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's in this. Carrie-Anne Moss from the Matrix trilogy, quadrilogy, whatever the hell we're calling that now, is in this. But no, so the Star Wars The Acolyte is a show.
High Republic era. 300 years before the prequel. So this is an Old Republic is further back. Do you want to do
the news?
No, I just Googled it and I'm just
screwing me over here. So it's set in the final days of the High Republic era. And it is a show essentially from the perspective of the Sith. And it is going to sort of show us how the Sith ultimately infiltrated the Jedi. And I couldn't be more excited for this for a couple of reasons. But I would say first and foremost is this will be the first time that we've gotten a show from the perspective of the Sith, or a movie or anything. It's the first time in Star Wars that we've really gotten something from the perspective of the Sith, where, presumably the Sith are going to be our protagonists and the Jedi in this are going to be the villains if they spin it right and make us feel, compassion for our main characters. So this excites me beyond no end. But what are your thoughts on this? You're a big Star Wars guy. Does a show, first of all, set in the end days of the High Republic interest you? And does a show from the perspective of the Sith interest you?
Yes. I don't think I want to see the show the way that you just kind of pitched it, though. I don't want the Sith to be the kind of quote unquote heroes here.
Well, this is
like rule of two timeline. So there hopefully should only be two Sith. But what I would prefer is like a kind of a more Breaking Bad feel, where the Sith are the main characters, but they're not protagonists. They're antagonists, but they're the main focus of the entire show.
Well, protagonist and antagonist doesn't necessarily mean heroes and villains. Protagonist is just like this is who we're following. This is the character of our story, and the antagonists are the people who are foiling that, right? Like a show or a movie from the perspective of Magneto. The X-Men would be the antagonists. They'd be the bad guys in this story.
Anyway, I want to dislike the Sith. I don't want to like them. But you can have, like, Breaking Bad is a great example. You can have a protagonist who is bad, and you like watching them, but you hate to like watching them. You hate to like rooting for them. And this, like, I've read and I own, they're written by my favorite author, the Rule of Two, a book series written by Drew Karpyshyn. They dive into the Sith it was a Sith who wiped out all the Sith and created the Rule of Two, not Jedi. Yeah. And so it dives into this character, Darth Bane, and you're reading the books and he's a total jerk. Yeah. But you root for him. Yeah. And it's like, it's this, you've got, as a person with kind of a good moral compass, reading or watching characters who have no moral compass, but they're the star of the show or the star of the book. Like, you're rooting for them, but your moral compass is saying, that person's evil, stop it. Yeah. So it's that kind of inner turmoil just watching it. I really enjoy. Dexter's another good show that kind of does that. So that's what I would hope for watching it, if it's
for sure. And that's certainly what I would look forward to. Even Andor did that for a little while, where there's
with Miro
whole episodes where we're like rooting for Imperial officers. Yeah. We're like, you go, you get them, and then it's like, wait,
Miro
what?
did Andor did a really good job of that for the first few episodes, and then they just flipped it on its head and made you just despise them.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a fun twist.
Obviously, Rule of Two also always gives us that potential for a Sith apprentice who's got some convictions. Maybe they were a turned Jedi. There's all kinds of room for that depth of like, you know, I want this power and it feels good and I think I'm on the right side, but, you know,
I think
slaughtering my old colleagues.
Yeah, it would really, really give us a look at how the Sith operate in a live action format that we see we see some of it in the cartoons. You see most of it in books, in print format. I don't think you really see much of it in video games, where the whole idea of the Rule of Two is you've got the master who embodies the power, and you have an apprentice who craves it. And when the apprentice gets to the point where they feel they've got nothing left to learn from the master, they're supposed to destroy the master, become the new master, and take on a new apprentice. And kind of that strenuous relationship, it comes through in print a lot more. So this is an opportunity to really kind of show that relationship is strained, and the deviousness and the plotting, and how the master wants to teach the apprentice everything, but they don't want to teach them. They're going to hold on to they're not going to teach them everything, you know, because they want to remain the master as long as possible. And the whole Rule of Two and Sith, there's a lot to dig into there, and if done right, can be a lot of fun. And it has been done right in other medias really well.
I think my only
we get a little bit of it in live action with Sidious, but because the Sith aren't the primary force moving the movies forward, the heroes are. You don't see it as in depth.
Right. I think my only gripe right now, with this synopsis and the time setting and the actors and everything, is like I'm still not getting my Darth Plagueis story. I really just want to see Darth Plagueis. That's a story. Darth, young Palpatine as an apprentice who throttles his master in his sleep.
That could be really interesting, like a story that leads right into Episode 1.
Yeah, because for those that don't know,
Plagueis is essentially alive up until about the third act of Episode 1.
Yeah, absolutely. He's alive during it, and you just because he dies in like 33, 32 BBY, right?
He sees he's there when Anakin lands. Well, he's not on the landing platform, but he's there and sees Anakin step out of the Naboo shuttle on Coruscant. Yeah, man, I want it. I want it so bad. It'd be really cool.
Okay, moving on. So when I have a little quiz for you, a little test. When you think about, and I'll narrow it down as we go. When you think about great action, adventure-y kind of movies of the 20th century, what do you think of?
Of the 20th century?
Yeah.
Does that, so like 2000s forward?
No, the 1900s.
The 1900s.
Yeah, last decade or last century.
Like action flicks?
Yeah.
Did you say? Sorry.
Yeah, iconic action franchises.
I think of Arnold Schwarzenegger and all that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Think of Rambo and Sylvester Stallone stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the B movie, more kind of cheesy stuff with Chuck Norris.
Okay, now let's
Asian
tighten
stuff.
Let's tighten the search. Let's tighten the search.
All right.
When you think of it
Narrow
with that same thing in consideration, what do you think of when we add a sword and horseback into the mix?
I know where you're going with this because we have show notes. So I'll just drop it.
Show notes?
I think of Indiana Jones.
Oh no, that's not where we're going.
No.
Indiana Jones never
really?
has a sword.
I would say Indiana Jones though, sword, horseback,
and then
adventure.
And then what do you think of when we take those things and I say that our main protagonist is Spanish?
I think of, I don't know, the Highlander.
What? Oh my God!
But it's an Irish guy who plays a Spanish guy, and a Spanish guy who plays an Irish guy in the Highlander.
I'm really not wanting to give in. I'm really just trying to get you to.
We can play this all day. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So what I was trying to get you to land on was the infamous Zorro.
Oh, Zorro.
Yeah, Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
Now, Zorro seems like one of those franchises that in 2022 or in the current day and age is just itching for one of those revivals that every other franchise seems to be getting, right? Mm-hmm. And Antonio Banderas would agree. However, he doesn't necessarily think that he's the man for the role moving forward. Dum, dum, dum.
Does he have somebody in mind?
And he does. He has named his new... Well, he hasn't... I don't think it's up to him. But he's named the person that he thinks is the right person to don the mask. And I can see it working, but at the same time, the person that he's chosen seems to be the person that everybody chooses for every recasting of old properties moving forward. But Antonio Banderas... No, Antonio... Can you imagine? Antonio Banderas really thinks that Tom Holland is the guy to continue the Zorro legacy.
Yeah. That...
He could certainly do the physical stuff.
Oh, he could... Yeah, like the acrobatic kind of stuff. And
landing on a horse from like a third story of a building.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
I think it'd be interesting too. He doesn't, because Zorro can be like Zorro, which is Spanish for fox, is like can be done in such a way that it is a mantle, right? Zorro's not the guy behind the mask. Zorro is like,
well, they already played with that concept when Antonio Banderas picked up the mantle.
Yeah.
Right. So, Antonio Banderas' first foray into Zorro was just that. Like he's a low class thief, and he happens upon the original Zorro, and that Zorro trains him up to be the new Zorro.
So, what say you to the idea of a Zorro film in which Antonio Banderas passes the torch, so to speak, to Tom Holland?
Could Tom Holland do a Spanish accent well?
I would guess so.
That would be... I feel like that would be the make it or break it for me.
Yeah, I mean,
for me,
Zorro
has to remain a Spaniard.
Oh, I would think for sure.
So yeah. Like I think he could make a great Zorro act like physically.
Yep.
But I don't know. You could probably find just as good actors out there to take the role that could portray it, the part.
Yeah. Do you think it even makes sense to continue on this franchise, or is it sort of a dead IP? We haven't had a Zorro film since 2005.
Well, like there's a lot of Zorro films though. Like Zorro,
he's been around since
is one
20s.
of those kind of classic films that just gets remade over and over and over and over again. It's kind of like Shakespeare, right?
I was just going to say there's something almost Shakespearean about the character.
Yeah, like the character gets revamped, has been revamped so many times.
Yeah.
So yeah, remake it, sure. It's not like I'm not usually one for the concept of a remake for remake's sake, but this is like a standard's already been kind of set that this is
this is one of those franchises you do it with.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm down.
I think it'd be good.
I like Zorro. Zorro's a fun character.
Like Zorro's done, I mean, there's been comics, there's been, in the 50s, you had like radio serials, you had, it's just one of those like infamous characters that seems to live on. And it's been 17 years since we've gotten one. So it feels like, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. Moving on. DC. Seems like every week we've got something to talk about in terms of DC, the film division at DC, DC Studios now, the brand new DC Studios with James Gunn and Peter Safran at the head of it, which I'm very excited for. But it seems like DC is maybe trying to take a little bit of a page out of Star Wars' book. Now, it's come out that DC's
I feel like
plan,
you need to explain that line of a bit more first.
Well, I'm about to. It's gonna. DC's come out and they've said that the plan moving forward is to not necessarily animated stuff and not necessarily comics and not this, that, and the other thing, but that moving forward, they are going to make DC video games canon. So that doesn't include Gotham Knights that just came out. It doesn't include the Arkham series or Injustice or any of that type of stuff. But that moving forward, the games and the movies and I guess live action shows and stuff like Peacemaker will be sort of one entity. Now,
they'll all follow the same canon. Does that include comics?
No, it'll just be the movies and the games. They're one step
down from what kind of Marvel's doing. Then.
Yeah, so it'll just be the movies and the games. So Star Wars did this. Star Wars basically, when they did their hard reset, and they're like, okay, the movies are canon, the Clone Wars is canon, books that came out after this date are canon. Moving forward, everything's canon. And everything that came out before that is just like, not that it doesn't matter,
considered
but
legends.
It's legends. It's just like elsewhere stories.
If it hasn't been retconned through new content, then it's assumed to be true, but there's kind of like no factual history.
Yeah, right. It's a myth. It's a legend.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Star Wars did this, but it didn't take very long for them to realize that, like, there's all kinds of contradictions within their canon now moving forward. Because you reach a certain point where you're just like, this is just like, it's too much. Like, you can't, it's very difficult to keep everything flowing in the same story and then to keep everyone up to speed, because you're like, oh, well, important events happened in this animated show that nobody's watched, and important events, we're going to do something really big in this video game, but you can't have it an option to have this character killed in this video game because this character needs to be there for, like it, in some ways it kind of shackles them from a creative standpoint when it comes to games and stuff like that. It pretty much rules out the possibility of like a future Arkham game or anything like that. But I don't know if I see this being smart or if I see this really ultimately working, because like I said, people are going to go watch these movies. It doesn't mean they're going to play the games. And so the stories that you're going to have take place in these games need to be so insignificant now. You can't have this big, crazy Batman series with serious implications for characters, and this happens and that happens, because, well, that'll just mess up our plan for the movies. So I don't know. I don't think I like this idea, because I would rather my video games just be allowed to explore the playground of the video game, tell their own narrative, do their own thing, and leave the movies out of it. But what are your thoughts when you hear this?
Well, I think it can work. I think it works for Star Wars. I don't think Star Wars has a problem making it work. I think it works well for Star Wars. It worked well for Star Wars under George Lucas's leadership before he sold it, because that had all kinds of books and games and movies, and they all flowed canonically, and they didn't retcon or screw up each other's the lore up within the universe. And it's working relatively well right now. I think the Disney sequels completely crapped on a lot of lore and canon that was already established to kind of to make something new, and it didn't work. But in terms of like the video games that are coming out and the cartoons and stuff, it works well. And I think it works well because there's sort of a hierarchy of importance, and that the movies are of the utmost importance. This what's happening in the movies can't be changed or altered or touched. Your TV shows, your games, your books, everything flowing underneath, it all more fills in gaps that the movies didn't explain or touch on with characters or storylines. And it focuses on characters that aren't focused on in those movies. So it flows well, it works well. You don't have a lot of oopsies. I changed something I shouldn't have, or I forgot about the Force being able to do this thing when it really can't, well, when it should be doing this thing. So it works well. I agree with you that it doesn't work for DC, and it won't work for Marvel. And the reason is simply the main characters in your film have to be the main characters in the books and in the comics and in the TV shows and in the games. So you to run in, because of that, you start to run into all these messy situations with timelines and, that character actually met this character or defeated this character. And I think it gets messy really quickly.
Well, and you also have, like, with Star Wars, there's thousands and thousands of years of existence there, where you can just be like, okay, we're going to make up some characters from 2,000 years ago, and we're going to tell a story about them, and it can be canon because it's far enough removed from everything that it doesn't really touch or hurt anything, and as long as we follow the rules of the universe, then it works. But with something like Marvel and DC, for the most part, all of these unless it's like, the son of someone, the kids of someone, all of these characters kind of all live and exist congruently. They're all sort of there at the same time. So you can't all of a sudden make a video game. And this is the other reason why I think video games, like this whole amalgamation thing, it makes sense to me for movies and TV shows. Sure, do it with the books, do it with whatever. Just leave video games out of it. Video games now are this world where we're like, you're putting you're putting the player in the wheelhouse and letting them choose how the story goes down.
There's hours of gameplay you need to create too. And for that, like the Batman's a perfect example that we can flow from for this conversation. I watch Batman versus Superman. Like if we use like current stuff that's kind of happening, we watch Batman versus Superman. We watch Justice League. Batman's cool. Look at all the stuff he's doing. But then we play a video game like one of the Batman Arkham series, and he fights a huge chunk of his rogue gallery, putting a lot of them in jail or whatnot. Well, what happens when you go to make a Batman solo film?
Yeah.
Now you have to orchestrate an escape or stuff. Yeah. You complicate your storylines.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and even just again, like Star Wars has got these thousands of years. When you come to Marvel and DC, you can't now then be like, oh, we're gonna tell a version of Batman. We can't tell a Bruce Wayne Batman that is, just for the hell of it, set 200 years from now. He's like, no, that's not when Batman was. Batman is now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's a mess.
Even so, like Star Wars, you're right. Star Wars has got thousands of years, millions of years to pull a storyline from fresh from nowhere. But you could take a storyline smack in the middle of one of the trilogies, have main characters show up,
make brief cameos,
and it still works because they're not. What are they doing the whole time through that episode? That movie. There are parts in that movie where there's time jumps. There's gaps in time that, hey, Darth Vader. Where was Darth Vader during this gap of time we were following the heroes? Maybe he was interacting with the character from our film or our TV show or our video game.
I think the perfect example of this was Enter the Matrix, which was a video game that followed the story of Ghost and Niobe during the events of the trilogy. And every so often, Neo and whatever would show up, or they'd have a phone call with them or whatever, and you kind of understood where in the events of the trilogy this, the mission that you were doing took place. But ultimately, it was its own. In the movie, we know that Niobe did this thing, which secured us to be able to do that. Okay, well, let's tell that story. Let's show that happening.
Yeah. And like we've been saying, you've got a harder time doing that with a comic book franchise because you don't want to play Commissioner Gordon. You want to play Batman.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me who,
You want to play Batman. You don't want to be Commissioner Gordon. Although a Commissioner Gordon game could be pretty cool.
A Commissioner Gordon game.
Oh, there's a crime happening. How fast can I run up the stairs to turn on the bat signal?
Listen, a Commissioner Gordon game in the vein of like old school Max Payne games. That would be kind of fun. He's
very
like this
noir feeling.
Very noir, very like, living in this rundown apartment. It's before Barbara's born. It's like, and he's like out roughing up thugs and, which again was shit all over the dynamic of the character of Jim Gordon. But
well, I mean, we've both watched Gotham.
Yeah.
That Jim Gordon's a pretty drastic departure from what we assume Jim Gordon to be.
He gets that way, yeah. Like initially he's very textbook and by the book, but the Gotham and the GCPD kind of wear him down a little bit as that series goes on. Yeah, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm playing all the DC games that are coming out anyways. So I don't know how much it will really ultimately impact me.
It'll be interesting to watch. See what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. It might lead to me watching a couple more of those, like, when someone takes all the cutscenes or whatever from a game and they edit it together into a movie and stick it on YouTube. Those might become something that are now worth watching more because, you're like, oh, well, it matters. So who knows? Who knows? So we talked about trailers.
What's next?
There are some trailers.
Trailers. Okay.
Transformers. Rise of the Beasts. Yes. Now, Transformers is a series that has been hit or miss for a lot of people. I think even those that think the Transformer movies aren't very good would all kind of agree that the first one was not awful. First one was very watchable. And then they got a little not so good.
Yeah.
And then a little worse. And then smacked us all over the head and surprised us with the Bumblebee movie, which was actually quite good, I thought.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, it's pretty good. But Transformers has just kind of been... Transformers also falls into that category of like, this is a franchise that there's always going to be toys. There's always going to be new shows coming out. There's always going to be... Because it's just like... It's just going to live on. It's like an immortal franchise.
Well, yeah, it's oh shoot. I've lost the name of the company.
Hasbro.
The toy company. Hasbro. It's just Hasbro's license to print money. We make a movie that's going to cost us X amount of money. We're going to make that back on toys. Easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. But as far as the films go, specifically in this kind of like cinematic universe that they've made for the Transformers, I've kind of been over it for a while now. I've been like, I don't care. I see that one's coming out and I'm like, okay, that's another movie that I'm not going to watch. Like,
yep, I'm riding shotgun with you in that one.
And then I watched the trailer for this movie and I was like, hang on a second. I'm actually interested in this. I'm skeptical beyond all get out because you've done me dirty several times and set a precedent for the type of movie you're going to give me. But either this is going to be, at least in my opinion, this is going to be a good movie, or it's just a really damn good trailer for a shitty movie. But yeah, I watched this trailer and I was like, I am actually interested. I'm not going to say excited. I'm not going to rush out and see it in theaters, I don't think. But I was at least like, oh, maybe this is one that I shouldn't miss. Maybe someone over there has gotten their shit together. Anyways, you've had a chance to watch this trailer, and knowing you are the target audience for Transformers type stuff because it's a thing of the 80s.
My generation.
A nerdy thing of the 80s. And so you're right up there with it. It's like if they announced a Gummy Bears movie tomorrow, I know you'd be like right
I'd
there,
be
ready to
bouncing
go.
Here and there and everywhere.
Yeah. But you saw this trailer for, a beloved IP of yours. What are your thoughts?
Man. So, preface here. I grew up with Transformers, but I never watched any of the TV shows till I was like late teenager and in college. And Beast Wars was one of those Transformers shows that I really got into. So seeing Optimus Primal on screen, yeah, that big Transformer ape got the blood flowing. That was exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see several. Cool. We see the Rhino. We see, I don't know any of the names. We see the Rhino. We see the like big eagle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, it'll be hopeful. I'm looking at I just Googled it, just kind of see who's in it. Because I didn't know who's in it till I just Googled it.
Yeah. Still not Shia.
Peter Cullen coming back as Optimus Prime.
Well, you have to.
Big thumbs up. Ron Perlman is Optimus Primal.
Yeah. I mean,
freaking
come on.
A.
Come on. Yeah. Like,
Pete Davidson's in it.
Yeah. Like, hit or miss for me, but yeah.
He's a funny guy. In terms of like kind of more recent SNL cast members.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
he's actually funny. Most SNL cast members these days aren't funny.
Yeah.
Pete is funny.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Also, I don't know who this guy is. I've never heard his name before. It's not directed by Michael Bay. So that's pretty sweet.
That's
like Michael Bay's got some good cinema credits under his belt.
Yeah, but it's time for him to move on from.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what a new director can bring to this franchise.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage is in it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity for this to be really good.
Yeah, and even just like some of the stuff they were putting on the screen in the trailer, right? Like the car changing the direction by transforming around him. I was like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then when the Porsche like projects holograms of itself to evade the police.
Yeah.
That was cool. I'm like, I'm actually okay. Like you've got me. You've piqued my interest. Which, yeah, I was not expecting, but I am now officially, at the very least, interested in Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah, same. I was not interested, but after watching this, my interest is piqued.
Moving on to our next trailer, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We've gotten a trailer.
Yeah, I just watched it this morning as per my contract requirements.
Yeah. I have a theory, and I don't have much to go on. Well, so at one point, James Gunn came out and he said, this will be the last time we see this iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy, this team of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think several members of this team are not making it out of this film. And I think anyone is potentially on the chopping block. But after watching this trailer, I think because they're like seem to really be hamming up his story in an emotional way, I don't think Rocket is making it out of this movie. I think they're going to kill Rocket, which will be sad, but then also like, you know, like I'm often saying, it's like, oh, okay, Rocket died. Like that's horrible and that's tragic. And oh wait, this is the multiverse. So does it really matter? Like, is he actually dead? Is he gone? Or is he still going to show up in Secret Wars? Because you got to have everyone there for Secret Wars, and you know, we're like, oh, we'll pull another Rocket. Oh, Gamora's back. Well, Gamora died. Well, yeah, but time travel. So you know, there's Gamora. Don't worry about it. Having said all that, I mean, it's the Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy is a franchise that I've enjoyed. It's one of the better Marvel, like MCU series. Again, I don't quite, much like we talked about in our Black Panther review, I don't fall into the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs about the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think they're really good. But I'm not like, you know, I don't have a Christmas sweater with Groot on it. I'm not, you know, I'm not crazy about them the way that many people seem to be. But I do like them. And I saw this trailer and I think it's a pretty solid first trailer, an emotional first trailer. And I'm excited to see this movie. I mean, you know, it's the MCU. I'm excited to see just about every property that comes out. But you watched the trailer, much to your chagrin. And what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think a lot of people are going to fall into the same boat that you do about not caring much about the Guardians before their MCU debut. Because they weren't, we talked about this in the Black Panther episode. They weren't an A-list team.
Oh, but I mean, even after their debut,
they weren't the Avengers.
Even after their debut, I'm like, oh yeah, like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are great, but they're not like they're nuts about them.
In terms of like their popularity definitely shot through the roof after their first MCU debut.
Yeah,
like their comic book sales, like they went up. They started creating new comic lines. They started showing up in cartoons more, and it's so like it had a major effect on the characters and the amount that they were seeing in other forms of media. So, and I'm in that boat too. I didn't really care that much about them until the movie as well. I kind of had an idea who they were, but until that movie, I didn't. X-Men and Avengers, here we go. That's where I was. So it was really cool. It's really cool that these films have kind of brought up their standing, their sort of value within Marvel as characters. Mm-hmm. Rocket dying. That's an interesting theory. They actually recently killed Rocket in the comics.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It was actually a really kind of interesting and kind of heartfelt and kind of heroic way that he goes out is pretty cool. I don't think they have the capacity to do that within a 2.5 hour film from what they've set up, from what it looks like so far. But kind of telling some of his origin story a bit by looks of it with his good friend, the otter, who went through the same genetic manipulation and tinkering that he ended up going through. And the what's his name? The guy that created him. He's going to play a major role in this because one of the people we see in the trailer is him.
Right.
Created Rocket. Not Rockets. Rocket. No, that's... No. I'm getting the actual actor, the actual writer, instead of in the comics. This is going to bug me if I can't figure it out. Anyway. Yeah, so apparently he's going to play a big role. But also we get a couple of shots of I had his name. It just slipped. Gem in the forehead, but not an android.
Right.
Oh my goodness. This is why I shouldn't be on a podcast, because I can't remember things when I want to.
Yeah. All the negative reviews for this episode, please direct them at this moment. You got nothing. Okay, doesn't matter.
But no, I thought I enjoyed the trailer. It was good. I think it's gonna be a fun ride. They set it up good. Adam Warlock,
right?
That's who it was. It wasn't a surprise to me to see it because I've already seen the Christmas special, but excuse me, Swole Groot is interesting and funny looking, and it's so that's
his
pretty
voice.
Cool.
He's sounding as close to the original Groot as we've heard him sound.
Yeah, the High Evolutionary. That's the character who creates Rocket and a bunch of other.
Do you feel better?
Hybrid things. Pardon? Peanut butter?
Do you feel better?
I don't think he made peanut butter.
No, do you feel better?
Well, I do feel better now. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad. Moving on. Finally. We come to our last thing, which is the trailer, another trailer, for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, Indiana Jones, the first three, beloved. Fantastic masterpieces.
Absolutely.
Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
The what?
Yeah. Has some moments. It does. It's not super great. It's got some big issues. It's not a very good movie. So I think when I myself, along with a bunch of other people, when we heard that there was another Indiana Jones movie coming, the taste of the crystal skull was still kind of in our mouths, and it was like, I don't know. The trailer was dropped. The first trailer's come out. I sat down and watched it. Not being like, I didn't watch the Indiana Jones movies until later in life. So I didn't grow up with them. They weren't, I don't have that strong nostalgia kind of thing working in its favor. But I sat down and watched this trailer and I was like, oh, hell yes. I was like, this is everything that I would want from an Indiana Jones movie. This feels in many ways kind of like an installment of the original trilogy, but shot with modern day cameras and effects, and like just brings it into that, kind of removes that, oh, I'm watching an old 80s movie kind of feel from it. I watched this trailer and like I said, I am jacked for this. I found myself surprisingly more excited for an Indiana Jones movie than I thought I would. But Harrison Ford looks great. Doesn't matter how old that guy gets. He's still badass. The action looks fun. The concept seems fun. The throwbacks. There's some kind of weird, like, deep fake facing stuff going on, but it seems like maybe this film is going to deal with some time travel. Yeah, I am super excited for this. But you're not even arguably, you are certainly more of an Indiana Jones fan than I am. So your opinion here means more than mine does, I'm going to say. So you saw the trailer. Did it work for you?
No.
No,
it did not. No.
Talk me through it.
There were a few moments where I was like, oh, that's cool. But almost the whole time I sat there, I was just like, why? And then like Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones delivers this line of, I don't believe in magic. And I'm like, how? How could you possibly not believe in magic? Like, you watched, like, his eyes were closed, but he watched first movie, an entire Nazi regiment gets melted. Second movie, he watches people's hearts get ripped out of their chest, still beating with ease, like no force. Like the guy's hand magically goes in and pulls out the beating heart, and some other weird shenanigans in that film. Number 3, I think in my mind is a huge one. He watches his dad come back to life after drinking out of the Holy Grail. How do you not believe in some form of magic?
Well, because maybe it's
right. I'm forgetting the movie that I love to forget about. Aliens. Like
aliens aren't magic. Yeah, that's science.
But like there's so much unexplainable stuff here.
Yeah.
That
I don't know. Maybe like doesn't mean it's magic.
I don't know. That line just seemed so forced.
Right, but the rest of the line was cool.
But that first bit was just like, give me a break. This guy believes in magic.
So you're not.
There's no way he doesn't.
You're not excited, eh?
I'm not. Not after this. I'll probably go see it, but
you'll have to. But yeah.
I'm going to be walking into the theater or sitting down at the couch very standoffish towards it.
Well, don't do that.
So it's got nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
If it sucks, then it meets my expectations. If it blows me out of the water, then I'm going to be vaporized because it's going to be. I wasn't expecting it.
By magic, vaporized by magic.
By magic, yeah.
Well, that sucks. That's disheartening to like.
Yeah. So I am disheartened. But
in any one of these situations, the fact that whenever you're in a situation where someone's excited for a movie and the other person isn't, or someone likes a movie and the other person doesn't, all film is subjective, but in some ways, ultimately the person who does enjoy it kind of comes out the winner a little bit, because it's like, oh, wow, that's awesome. This person gets to feel the emotion of excitement, the emotion of enjoyment. The other person's like, I've been done dirty. So it's disheartening to hear that you're not, not excited.
I probably, I would guess a large part of me, if I were to really dig down and analyze why a part of me is really distrusting of Disney with properties that I love, or older properties that they've acquired that I love.
Right.
Like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, because they've done me dirty on both counts.
Right.
There are some cool kind of, like having John Rhys Davies come back as Sala. That's pretty cool. That was an exciting part. Saying, oh yeah, this character we haven't seen in a long time. Yeah. But I don't know. I am very weary of, like, the other thing was, we see quite a few shots of Indiana Jones in some very action heavy sequences.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no way this 80-year-old's doing that.
I don't know. Maybe he's on that juicing
He should
diet.
The way he treats his body, he should be walking or being pushed in a wheelchair throughout this movie, or walking with a walker.
I don't know, man. He's on that juicing diet. And he's just keeping up with Pilates and water aerobics.
And drinking magic juice.
And drinking magic juice that he doesn't believe in. But
yeah,
it's still working for him.
I'm very hesitant.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that's hopeful, but it's very small.
Wow.
It is disheartening for me to even say that, because there's nothing I wouldn't love more than an amazing Indiana Jones film.
Yeah, and I hope that's what you get. Honestly, I hope it I hope it blows your expectations out of the water, truly.
You and me both.
But anyways, that's news. And it doesn't really matter what we think of those topics. What matters is what you think. So please reach out to us on Facebook, wherever, and weigh in on these. Tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why you agree with us, why you're excited about these shows, movies, whatever they are, and why you're not.
Yeah. Because like all opinions, everyone's got one.
And we want to hear yours. What? That's not. Anyways.
I was going to throw the butthole part of that line in there, but I didn't think it was appropriate.
It is not. Yeah, it doesn't really want to. Yeah. Make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, Patreon down below. All of those things are super awesome and super important, at least to me. Check out our merch page. We got lots of fun goodies there, all reasonably priced, all high quality products. Like we're not just like that guy at the mall that silk screened something onto a t-shirt for you. We got like some 100% cotton, some real nice stuff. Mm-hmm. Real nice stuff. And make sure you check out the upcoming things that we've got on the Movie Man, as well as our massive back catalog at this point of episodes. There's lots of good stuff. You'll never get through them all. I dare you. Yeah, check it out. Carl and I are doing a bunch of reviews coming up this week. We got three more reviews coming this week.
Work.
Yeah. Your paycheck's coming in the mail. I got a notification that it was like there was a mix up with the stamp, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, don't you hate it when you forget that stamp?
Yeah.